Hi, I'm just going to quickly show you how to create three-dimensional terrain in SketchUp Pro. So all you're going to need to do to begin with, if you right click in your toolbar at the top, go to Customize Toolbar, and there's two tools that you're going to need. It's these two here, From Scratch and Smoove. So just drag these into your toolbar at the top. Click, done. Right, I'm now just going to zoom out and create a bit of an area of terrain. So first tool I'm going to use is the From Scratch tool, and what this does is it draws a grid. You can see here, if I just click along the red axis and then move along this way, that's roughly the size of each of the tiles. Now they're quite large in proportion to this person. What I'd recommend you do is not make one which is too big, because it's incredibly labor intensive on your computer if you make a gigantic one. But these are quite large, these tiles here. So what I might do is go back to From Scratch, and where you've got this grid spacing here, this is obviously in inches, because I'm using the American version. So if I maybe go down and put it at 40 inches, for example, right, you see now my grid size is smaller. So I'm just going to pull something out, something like so. Next, what you need to do is just select your grid, and you need to right click and go to explode. Now the really important thing you do now, because it's a bit of a glitch in the software, is if you click on the smoove tool now, you'll crash your computer. Make sure you deselect your grid, because otherwise it's trying to pull everything in one go. So now just go to smoove, okay, and you can see you've got this quite large diameter circle here, but what it enables you to do is just pull up areas like so. Again, in the measurements, we can adjust the size of it. So if I put it down to 100, for example, and just hit enter, you can see I've got a much smaller radius circle now. So if you wanted to do finer adjustments, you can use that. So we can just move around. And I'm just going to pull more areas up. So I might make this a bit larger again, 300. Okay. And so we've got a nice little area of terrain, something like so. If we're looking to kind of place a building or object into it, it is quite nice to just close off some of these areas. So I would recommend just using your line tool just to draw down and along. Oops. And you can start filling in some of these areas. So again, that's where it lines up. And you can start boxing it in. It just looks a little bit cleaner, I think, than seeing underneath. The things you can do, you might find that actually all of this whole area is because it's made up of these flat faces. If you right click on it and you go to soften and smooth here, you can make it so it feels slightly more organic by just increasing the sort of softness into some of these areas like so. So then it will kind of round it all off if you're wanting it to feel a bit more of a natural sort of environment. So, and lastly, you can of course apply textures and things to it if you want. So if you're wanting to make it feel a bit more like grass, you can go to your textures. That's glass, not grass. Let's go to landscaping, and you might be able to just apply something like that to it. And then very simply, if you've got a sort of building structure, oops. Sorry, I can't hit escape while I'm recording. Pull that up. So if you've got a building, something like so, use your move tool and start thinking about where you might place that in your environment. and done. All right, so best of luck with that.